For scales, for now, I'm going to be practicing shapes in 2 pairs. That's going to be the C shape and the A shape, and then that's going to be the G shape and the E shape. And I'm going to cycle through those 2 because I think it's important to switch between 2 shapes because that's more representative of how you would actually use these shapes when you go to improvise or even compose, because you're not going to be stuck in one box. Now for those 2 pairs, I'm gonna also just cycle through the major shape, I'm gonna cycle through the major pentatonic shapes, and I'm gonna cycle through the minor pentatonic shapes for each of those 2 pairs. Eventually, I'll also move to 3 shape sets. So if right now I'm only pairing them with 2 shapes like C and A, and I'm also pairing G and E, I might do CAG shapes, and then I might do GED shapes. So I'll expand the pairs to sets of 3 shapes in the future. And I feel like that should get me to a place where I'm just really comfortable with moving around the different shapes, and it becomes less of a conscious effort to really think about each shape as I go to improvise. So that's my theory for now, and that's kind of like what I want to test as I continue to expand this practice. For arpeggios, kind of been neglecting them. I need to definitely get more consistent with including that. Yeah, I guess like just one note on arpeggios. The reason why I think it's super important to incorporate is because when you go to improvise, you know, there's this whole idea of playing the changes, which just means that you want to be cognizant of the underlying chords of the backing track. If you want to really move from a novice improviser to an intermediate improviser, you have to be super mindful of those chord changes. One way to do that is to be super comfortable with at least the triads, at least the 1, 3, and the 5 of each chord. You need to be mindful of where they are and play around it. And before you can get to a point of really being musical and artistic with your note choices, you got to know where they are. So that's something that I want to make sure that I stay ahead of. I don't want to be disappointed in myself in the future and think that, damn, I should have really practiced those arpeggios. Just because you know intellectually like what the notes are, there's a big difference in between knowing what the notes are and being able to play them comfortably.
It's actually more kind of clumsy sounding, like a clown show.
Alright, it's not the cleanest, but it's doable. I want to see what my upper limit is, because I haven't like truly tested it with any of the licks that I've used before. So we're at 140 now. Alright, let's go to 150, just to see. Yeah, so I think 150 is where it all falls apart. Alrighty, so another day of not improvising, but that's okay, because as long as I'm learning new ideas, getting new ideas under my finger and kind of like into my consciousness, I'm okay with that. And you know, at a certain point, if you just keep improvising without taking the time to either come up with new interesting ideas and you just go back to doing the same things over and over again, you're really not getting any better. So even if I've now gone through a couple of days of not really improvising, I'm really okay with that. I think I'm okay with it because, you know, in this pickup music guitar course, I'm learning some interesting new ideas, some interesting new licks that seem to be pretty universal across this genre. We'll see how this actually manifests in my playing and in my improvising later, like just learning a bunch of new licks and stuff. But today was kind of like a low stress, low pressure day of just doing things that are a bit more mechanical, but that's okay. Happy practicing, y'all. Catch you on the next one. Peace.